At this point, we can go down two routes. My preference is to put in all of the colors, styles, and fonts in place first, and that's what we're going to do in this chapter. But alternatively, you could just wireframe your initial homepage structure or key page in your site before applying any colors or styles to it. The benefit of that approach is sometimes colors can add a bias on structures and certain styles. And that is in particular the case when we're branding on projects, less so for web, but it's something to be mindful of as well. But I like to get the fonts and styles in so it feels like it's the client's project then from that stage forward, especially if I've got the client in the room, either on a virtual call or on in person, then I think this helps. So I'm going to go to site styles first. And we can see we've got the fonts and the colors in here. And this will do most of what we need to get the website set up for what we want. However, I don't have a style guide with color swatches in hexadecimal values, and that's all we need. And if you're in a similar boat, you can do this. Go to the main menu, then go into assets instead of pages to start with. And if you can collate everything you have on either your client's project or for your own business and upload them, that will make a big difference. So I'm going to upload here, and we've got photos to start with. So some of these are WebP images, meaning that they won't work without adapting them. So I'm going to leave them out for now. There's loads of online image converters that you can use to convert them to JPEG format, meaning the website can read them and understand them. If you don't see any straight away, don't panic about that. We can see in this corner here, we can see that images are uploaded. This can be a little bit touch and go. Sometimes it will show that they've not uploaded and there's errors. But what I find in most cases is that even if the errors show there, it still is working. Once it's doing that, then I'm going to go and upload the artwork and branding files. Again, if there's any in a format that Squarespace won't recognize, it will just ignore them. Okay, so it's uploading up to 41 images, but the graphics will be much quicker uploading. So once it's got those photos in place, it should really kick in and be much faster. We're getting there. You can see some of these are on a white background, so we can just about make them out. And because this is a heavily optimized, customized font, that's why they're saved as graphics. But normally we try and avoid using graphics for titles, so we're going to have to look at that as a trade-off with the website. We can use them, but sparingly, because we still want this website to perform on search engines. Okay, so I think they're all uploaded now. So now we have all of our assets in here. One of the easiest ways to get this set up now for colors and fonts, I'm going to duplicate this tab. And in this first one now, I'm going to go back to pages, and from here go to site styles, and we're going to click this arrow next to colors. I'm going to use a Chrome extension called Colorzilla, which is this one here, meaning that as soon as we've got a image or graphic in Google Chrome, we can now color pick it. So I clicked on it once, so you get the color swatch. Now it's automatically copied that yellow to the clipboard. And now we're going to go and start filling in this color palette. So I click on it to edit the palette, and this yellow is going to be the middle color. So now we've got that in place. Let's go and grab the blue, which won't be the darkest. It'll be the second darkest color because we've got a very dark navy, which we can use. So now I'm going to paste Command A to select all, or Control A on a PC, and then Command V or Control V to paste. As we can see, it's looking very different. We're probably not going to end up with this look. In fact, I'm certain we won't. We're going to be quite sparing in terms of using the colors. This gray here is another color, so we're going to use this as the, not the lightest, but the second lightest color in the palette. You might find that ends up being a little bit too dark. We'll find out, because we may have to adapt to one or two of them. This one here then, just a rinse and repeat process. We're going to take that. It's not black. We can see that it would be 6 zeros if it was black. It's just a very dark navy color. And then we're going to leave white as is. There we go. We've got our 5 main colors swatches from our color palette. We start with the lightest on the left. We go to the darkest on the right. And now this already starts to feel more like their website than ours. If you're seeing gray sections, that's because they're image blocks, and we can swap them obviously with photos or graphics, illustrations as when ready. That's the color palette sorted. Next up, we're going to jump back out of that and we're going to go into fonts, all font packs. We can either select font packs from here, or instead we can choose individual fonts and search for them. So this website uses a custom font for headings. So we're going to end up replacing this. I probably won't do it as part of this course, but I probably will create this as a separate YouTube video because it's rare that we need to bring in custom fonts, but there are always times when we obviously need to do that. So I'm just going to bring down heading 1 so it's more in line with the other fonts. We use the heading 1 once per website, and then heading 2, 3, and 4 we can use as many times as we want. What we're trying to do is nest heading 3s within heading 2 and heading 4 within heading 3, if that makes sense. We can't always do that to get the look and feel that we want, but that's generally the rule of thumb, is it cascades in, starting with the heading 1 that's used once, which is usually the largest font or should be the largest font, and it gets smaller then as we go up the numbers, the size of the font gets smaller. Base size is 16 pixels, and we're happy with that. It's starting to look quite nice. And now let's change the paragraph font, and now Montserrat is available there. It's on a very thin weight. Montserrat's one of the most flexible options for font weight. I think that's quite good. It's not too heavy. It allows us to put bold on the text if needed, but it's still easy to read, and that legibility is really important. Okay, so that's font setup. Now let's add in our logo just to wrap up this chapter. So I'm going to save at that point. It's always good to save. This is a live website, so if our internet cut out or there was a little issue with Squarespace, we could lose the updates we've already made. And now I'm going to add the logo, but this time I'm going to select from library because it should be in here. Just got to find it. It'll be this one if we're going to go on a white background. We may change this and go for a darker background for our hero section, but I'm going to be doing a live stream on our YouTube channel where we could actually go through this project and build it. And we're actually bringing the client into the process as well as part of those live streams. Okay, that's already looking nice and set up and ready to go. So if we do this with a client, this is what we tend to do first is if we've got their brand toolkit, we'll put everything in. And then when they come into the meeting, it already looks like it's a good starting point. Because what we'll do in the next chapter is start with a blank page on our main navigation and start adding sections to wireframe the layouts. We're not going to worry too much about image selection, although we might drop 1 or 2 in just to see how it all clicks together. But for now, I think that's enough for this chapter. We now have our website ready to start building layouts.